Homeowners in Florida have been dropping their flood insurance policies at an alarming rate, but one family in Columbia County decided to keep theirs. They say without it, they would have never recovered.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think it would flood with us being there.
But Tropical Storm Debbie back in 2012 proved Chuck Nicholson wrong. Debbie caused $105 million of damage, according to FEMA insurance estimates. Chuck is the owner of a restoration services company and says most people he dealt with did not have flood insurance.
We did probably roughly about 115 different jobs when Debbie came through. We probably, maybe 15 homeowners have flood insurance.
It was Chuck's job to help others, but he had problems of his own.
My wife went in with a friend of ours and her brother, took a little boat up to the front door, got out, waded in, and got some of our collectibles.
Nicholson and his wife say are thankful they decided to keep their flood insurance even after a change in their rates. In 2006, when they moved into the home that would eventually flood, they were quoted $3,200 per year. But this was wrong.
We actually were not in a flood zone. But we had found out after we bought the home that it had flooded back in 2005.
After getting a second opinion, his rate dropped to about $370 per year because he lived in Zone X, a no-risk flood zone. The City of Gainesville's floodplain administrator says some zone areas may be decades old.
There are flooded zones that have probably been there since the 1960s and have not been updated since then. So through the course of the last several decades, we kind of have a mix of different levels of accurate data, so to speak.
FEMA relies on citizens to propose changes to the flood zones, and wrong zones can lead to wrong insurance quotes. Nicholson says the incorrect cost almost kept him from getting flood insurance.
Honestly, the cost, and a lot of people say FEMA's hard to deal with.
The rates are high because most policies are backed through FEMA. But just this spring, legislators began searching for a way to lessen the reliance on the federal program, since it is $23 billion in debt.
They do not charge the right rate for the risks that they take on. So they borrow the money from the U.S. Treasury and then pay it back.
The new bill, called the Flood Insurance Market Parity and Modernization Act, aims to encourage private insurance companies to enter the market, taking some responsibility off of FEMA. But one agency owner says there's no proof yet this will work.
Private companies that are coming out with rates are basically charging the same as FEMA.
But regardless of where Floridians are getting their flood insurance from in the future, Nicholson says one thing is for sure: if he did not have flood insurance,
we would be in trouble.
The Nicholsons lived 60 miles from the coast. This goes to show us if you live in Florida, it can flood. I'm UF forecaster Danielle Prinz.